Hello everyone, welcome to SAT 4600 Web Technology Lab 3. In this lab we're going to do some CSS stuff. The due date is Monday after Winter Carnival. I have two links here for you to read. So, session 1, example 1 on the CSS navigation bar. So let me just open the example 1 here. What I want you to do is actually just get my code and get it work. Okay, you're going to see something like this. Now, when you try to copy my code, you probably will see some weird character in the code. So you have to look through the code and make sure you delete all those weird character. Okay, I want you to put the navigation bar on your personal web page. Okay, so instead of have a text link like this, you have a navigation bar like this. Okay, let me show you the demo here. Okay, this is my web page. I add navigation bar here, so now you can see how it works. Now when you look at the source code, a couple of places you need to change. First, you need to copy all those things related to the CSS, the style, whatever in between the style until this part here. Okay, you need to put all those code inside the header portion of the code before the header. Okay, then you just need to find the right place where you want to put the navigation bar. Here I put right below my old menu. So if I search for MIC, okay, here's my old menu. You can see here I add something else, put my navigation bar there, which is just this piece of code. Okay, just play with this, and that should be pretty simple. Okay, question 1, screenshot 1, very simple. Also want you, right now here, all the style code was using the internal way. I want you to remove all those from internal way to external way. So you're going to create a new CSS file, and you need to refer to that. Also want you to submit the source code. Example 2, it's image opacity. Basically, that's what you need to get from example 2 here. You can download the image from the URL I gave to you here. Then you'll be able to see how you can move your mouse and change the opacity of the image. I think this is a very simple assignment. When you take the screenshot, if you cannot capture the mouse over effect, that's okay. Section 3, it's example 4, image sprite with hover effect. You can download the related image from this URL. Okay. So this is example 4 here. Example 4. Okay. The code is very simple. You have to read through the code and make sure you understand all this. See if I have a demo here. Excuse me. That's a different one. This is how over effect. You see how the things was changed. Okay. You basically just have to follow my example. You'll be able to do it. That should be okay too. Now, starting from section 4, things will get a little bit tougher. Now, what I want you to do in this section 4 is to rewrite your web page with CSS. We just created a web page last time, but without using CSS. Now we want to recreate a web page with CSS. Here is a link where you should start your work. What this link does is show you example like this with sample code of HTML parts and a sample code of CSS. Okay, this is a very simple example, but this clearly shows you how to use CSS and HTML. So let's just take a look at this code together. Now, this portion here is the HTML code. Okay, the HTML code was divided. The HTML page was divided into several different sections, like header portion here. Then you have navigation portion here. Header is here, navigation is this. Then you have content, which is this. Then you have footer, which is this. Okay, you can see how you divide or split up the entire page into different divisions. Then in the CSS code, you start writing something to tell how those different sections should look like. Now, for example, the container parts, that's just the entire thing called container. Margin background. The header portion, the background color is like this. The padding, so the padding, okay, just the buffer size and the background color. H1, how the H1 should look like in the header portion. Then the navigation portion, using the floating, the width, the background color. Okay. Then inside here you have some UL, LI, with hyperlink, with hover effect. Okay. When you move your mouse over, it changes the color to this. Originally, I think the color is this. And that's how you see from here. Okay. This portion is basically doing the same thing as our navigation bar, but the code just looks slightly different, but they are essentially the same. Okay. Then you have content portion. Here, if you have H2 or whatever inside the content, how it should look like. Footer portion. Okay. So what I want, if you also still remember my lecture in HTML5, I shows you how different portion the HTML code should look like. Okay, HTML page structure. A typical web page should be divided into different portions, like the header portion, like the footer portion. Okay, we also have content portion. If you don't have article, that's okay. If you want to have article, that's okay too. And you have one navigation bar, another navigation bar. As I said, you don't have to have all of this. You can have just part of them, that's okay. And even the name don't have to be the same name. Okay, it's just because people these are the common name and it's pretty self-explained. That's why everybody using header, so you know it's something here. Footer, you know it's here. But you have to describe all this in CSS file. Otherwise, it won't automatically show things that way. You have to describe it in CSS, and we already see in this example how it works. Okay. So what I want you to do once you get the basic stuff work, then you should start customizing. Okay, you see what I did here? I changed the background color a little bit, changed the text a little bit, okay, and change the footer, change the navigation bar, and the most thing I change is probably I add an image here and add my contact information here. Now, in order to allow the text wrap around an image, you can set image property with style float left. Okay, here. So this image will move towards left. All those texts will wrap around the image automatically. Okay, and this portion is the header portion. Okay, you can just put all this stuff in the header portion. Then the navigation and the content, the footer. Okay, take a look at my sample code here, my demo here. Okay, this is a new web page I created. Okay, so now let's take a look at the source code. Now, here I just use the inline stuff, so I still use the same CSS file. Okay, then starting from here, I start doing some HTML code. So I put the image here. Okay, style is left. I also put the padding. Give me some buffer space. The width and the height here. So the way I adjust it, because I want to show the image in the right place. Okay, so you can adjust the settings. Then I show the UKI's name, and I show smaller fonts with my title. Okay, so UKI is H1, other places H4. Okay, then this is navigation bar. Still keep the same. And you need to change the hyperreference to the correct one. And then this is the content. Okay, I just keep using the same content. Then this is the footer. Okay, the things above this are the CSS files. Pretty much keep the same. I didn't make any change. Okay, and now you can see you get some real nice looking. Excuse me, here. Page like this. Of course, you can just keep changing the color, the fonts, everything. Okay. Section 5. We're going to look at a more complicated real-world example, which is this website. The reason why I picked this website is just because it's reasonably easy, but complicated enough for you guys to learn something new. Okay, I didn't choose some more professional websites because those professional websites, they will have quite a few CSS files, and the things get really complicated, and you will get really confused when you look at them. This website here, okay, look pretty nice. If you look at the source code, okay, just temporarily skip all those things related to the JavaScript. You see here, link basic.css, and this is a CSS file. So this is the only CSS file they are using here. If you go here, type the URL basic.css, okay, you start seeing the CSS file here. This CSS file slightly complicated, but basically using the same thing. Like you can see, like define the body, define all the hyperlinks, define a lot of lists, define container, define how the header should look like, sidebar, header with H1, sidebar 1, 2, 3, because you can have multiple sidebars. The main content, sub-content, main content h1, h2, different things, sponsor link, okay, the footer, okay, and the rest of the stuff is getting a little bit more complicated, more specific, based on their website usage. Okay, so as you can see, this is just a slightly more complicated version of the previous example of this example. Okay, so what I want you to do is actually look at their web CSS file and start answering some of the questions here. So question number 5, what's the name of the CSS file used here? It's called basic.css. Where can you find it? Well, if you save it, you'll be able to find where you save it. If otherwise on the websites, it look like this. Okay, so now I want you to open the file and try to do some customization. So if I want to change the background color to FCC to this color, where should I change it? Now you need to figure out where is the background color. Okay, that's pretty easy. You see background color here. Okay, you can just change this. If you want to change the font size of welcome to 30 pixels, how should you change that? That's a little, you see, that's a little bit difficult one. Now this is the web page. You see the welcome here. Okay. Now the thing is, you need to figure out which one is describing welcome. So it's inside H1 here. But it's not only inside H1, you also need to figure out what's the content. It's actually inside this division, main content. Okay, that's a little bit hard to see, but you just get used to it. You'll find this very quickly. Okay, main content. So now you go back to the CSS code. Where's the main content? So you see main content here, and you are using H1. So main content H1, which is here. Main content H1. Okay, the font size originally is 18 pixels. Now you need to change this to 30 pixels. That makes sense? Maybe I go too fast, but just spend some time trying to figure out where I find things. Okay. So question number 8. If you want to change the height of the header section to 50 pixels and change to a different image banner, where should you find it? Okay, now you go back to the source code. Most likely it's so I want to change the image header portion here. Most likely it's a header portion. So where is it? Header portion here. You can see the height here. You can customize this to a different value. The background image, they are using this background image, which is this. What I want you to do is change to a different image. That's easy. Everything else keep the same. So that's also very simple. Once you finish all this, just take a screenshot of the new web page. Okay. As I said, if you understand CSS well, section 5 should be very simple. Otherwise, you just have to spend some time, get yourself familiar with CSS, and figure out which portions correspond to which portion. There are some tools, actually some nice tools available on the internet, allows you to actually just easily find the CSS and HTML tag. We're going to cover those things later, but for the time being, just do things manually. Okay, last part, general question. How long take you finish? How do you think it's easy or difficult? Any suggestions? Okay, thank you, bye.